I cried for 9 months. I really did.
Yeah.
And then when he was born, I made a promise to him that it didn't matter what happened in the world, he was going to have me. And I was going to push him to do whatever it is he wanted to do. And he would always have support with me.
Yeah.
Always.
I think I kind of made that same promise to Emily. So maybe it's a Gen X thing. What advice would you give a single mom today?
Take every moment and just live in it, because you don't get those moments back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hello Friends, the podcast where we dive into women's empowerment, diversity, and the soundtrack to it all. We are your hosts, Brandy and Chrissy.
Yes, ma'am. So in our inaugural episode that we had, Brandy and I spoke briefly about our path to friendship, our path to Hello Friends. We hope you enjoyed that. Little disclaimer, because I have to say it. And my daughter was like, Mom, you need to let them know, since it's out there. I was suffering from allergies. So I was sniffing. I was a mouth breather. Sucked, but I pulled through. So I apologize for that particular episode. But I just wanted to make that known before we move on. But today we're going to continue our talk about our journey, as Hello Friends and parenting, our journey into motherhood, at the very tender ages. Well, back then in the 90s, it was tender. I was 17 when I got pregnant and 18 when I had my first. So
I was 19.
She was 19.
I was 19.
I was the one that did everything before her.
Whatever.
But we're also going to kind of touch on how we navigated through that and the stigma that we faced during that time of single parenthood, and how it differs from nowadays, circa 2024.
Yeah, that's a vast difference from the 90s to now.
Yeah.
What did you first think when it happened to you, when you found out that you were pregnant? What did you think?
My initial thought was, shit.
Oh, shit.
And then it was like, am I really? Fun fact was that during, when I first found out that I was pregnant, my grandmother was turning 60.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of gives you an idea of like how things are in my family. My mom had me when she was 19. My mom had just given birth to my sister.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
September
I forgot about that.
I found out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she was still pregnant.
Yeah.
She was still pregnant. Somehow my sister and my daughter, my first daughter, is a year apart. But anyways, my mom was still pregnant, I believe. Or did she already have?
She had just
had her. But I was at my grandparents' 60th. We had all family in it was this huge to do. Like it was literally a surprise party for her. I just went with the flow. I think I was kind of a little bit in denial during the initial stages that, no, it's not me. I'm just going to go live my life and it is what it is. It wasn't until I think I had gone to the doctor and they were like, no, yeah, you are. And, you need to figure out what you're going to do. I.e.
Wow.
Are you going to keep it?
Yeah.
Or are you going to get rid of it?
Yeah.
My grandmother and I had a big talk and what have you. I ended up keeping her. Best decision in my entire life. What about you?
I found out I was pregnant literally right after my brother had passed. My brother had passed the year before. And so my family was still dealing with a lot. And I kind of knew I was pregnant. But I was also in denial because I was getting ready to graduate from high school. Mm-hmm. Like literally, I found out in April and I was graduating in May. But I felt my baby move.
Mm-hmm.
I felt my baby move. And once I felt that baby move, I knew he was there, and I wanted him. Like it was mine, and I wanted to take care of him.
Did you already have the idea that you were going to keep him?
I didn't.
Before he moved?
No, I actually went through like the whole process of giving him up for adoption and finding a family and doing all of that. Because I was going to school. I was in school, and I never wanted kids. I never wanted kids. Yeah. I come from a large family. I never wanted children, but I kept my baby because he was mine. I couldn't see something that I had created giving it away to anybody else, for anybody else to take care of him, because he came from me. So I kept him. And that honestly was the best decision I ever made too in my life, because he filled a void for me and my mom that we didn't know we needed to be filled. And he brought me far more joy, and he helped me grow into the person I am from having him.
Right.
I don't think I would be the same person if I didn't have him in my life right now. But I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I was terrified.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question, is what did you think when it happened?
I thought my life was over. Yeah. I had a career path. I was going to be somebody. Yeah. And I thought my life was over.
Yeah.
And in a small sense of it was, because so many people I knew were going off to do these great things, and I was somebody's mom now.
Yeah.
So, it changed my perspective of life quite a bit.
I think I was already a mom to my sister.
Yeah.
My youngest sister and my middle sister. I do have a middle sister, but she was 4 or 5 at the time, I think, or I don't remember, but I kind of had that parenting down pat. Like,
yeah, I didn't.
I was yeah. I mean, I changed her diapers. I did everything, and that was way before I even knew I was pregnant. But I was helping my mom with the new baby, and I loved it. I loved that connection that I had. So for me, it was more or less like, okay, I'm going to do this. There wasn't a sense of fear of being a mom. It was a sense of how am I going to provide for her as a mom? That was my thing. That's kind of what my thoughts were when I what's the word? What's the word? I'm like when I accepted it.
Oh, acceptance. It was acceptance at this point.
When I accepted the fact that I had become pregnant.
How did your life goals change at that point?
Life goals. Gosh, let's see.
Because you wanted to model.
I had every intention. Thank you. I had every intention of being a model. Yeah. Like, I went to training. I went to model searches at the malls when that was a thing. Barbizon, John Robert Powers, you name it. I did the whole modeling training. I did all the headshots. I did comp cards, all of that. And mind you, again, this was 1990 something. But after I had her, I still did those things. Even after I had her, there was a period of time where I did stay in contact with some modeling friends. So I was doing shows like at the mall, and I was doing convention shows and hair shows, anything that I could get, like extras in commercials and all of the, like I said, anything I could get. But then there came a time where it was kind of like, my priorities started changing. And then I felt like this may not be the right path for me, because then suddenly doors started shutting. It was like, no, you're to this, or you're to that, or it started becoming very, very negative. You have stretch marks, and just to keep it real, you've got stretch marks. You've got, you still have acne, prenatal, like after all that. You need to lose weight. You're too fat. your boobs aren't big enough, your butt's not big enough, your feet are too big, you name it. It was just like, how can I process all of this and then go home and be a mom?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. So soon I didn't quite give it up, because then I ended up working for thinking it would bring a little bit more stability and a little bit more self-confidence for a modeling school. And I stayed there for, I think it was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But again, I mean, it took me out of the audition aspect of it, but it didn't take me out of
That world.
the world. And that's what I feel like I had to be brought out of. So then eventually I ended up going, okay, well, I need to make money. I need to start something on my own. So, but I still very much love that artistic aspect of it. So I ended up being a makeup artist and a counter manager at Nordstrom. And then the retail hour sucked. And so then I worked my way into the corporate world, and had my 9 to 5 and the weekends off.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I made that decision, that was probably the best decision that I made.
I think a lot of times we have to bend what our goals are so that we can accommodate being a parent.
Yeah.
'Cause I did the same thing. I really wanted to go to school for journalism. I wanted to be a writer. And I wanted to be a music journalist.
Right.
I wanted to chase bands and write for Rolling Stone and magazines.
Right.
You can't do that with a toddler. Like you can't do that with a little person.
Could, but
Nobody's going to hire you. And
it's going
you
to be a little hard.
You know, when you're on a tour bus and you'd be like, oh, here's my 2-year-old. He's
Right.
just going to sit in the corner while you guys do all the drugs that you want to do. And we talk about No, nobody's going to do that.
Right.
So I put that on the back burner so that I could go to school. And, you know, and going to school, I also went to trade school because I honestly didn't know what I wanted to be, because outside of writing, there was nothing else I wanted to do. So I became a massage therapist. Then once I got my degree, I went into the healthcare field. Sorry. And I was stuck there for 20 years and working in corporate America. You know, it provided for my family, but I wasn't happy with those goals or those choices that I had to make.
Right.
Because I still had those goals of writing. And I did. I would write stories for my son. And I would, write little plays and little songs and all kinds of stuff. And when he got older, he would ask me, he's like, do you remember any of that stuff you wrote? And I was like, no, because I didn't write it down.
Right. Yeah.
But, my aspirations in life changed drastically when I found out I was going to be a mom.
Right. What challenges do you think that we face that no longer exist in 2024?
Just the fact that you get pregnant young now.
Right.
That's not a thing. And I know this firsthand because working in the hospital, I saw moms coming in 16 years old, 15 years old, 14 years old. And the dads were coming in 15 years old, 14 years old, 13 years old. And these are kids.
Yeah.
And granted, I was 19 and, I was the shame of the family, but I was legally an adult.
Right.
I could vote, I could drive, I could do whatever I needed to do.
Right.
I can rent my own apartment. But it was shameful when we did it.
Yeah.
And now it's not. It's so common. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I feel like social media has really, social media, and well, actually, I feel like MTV
did it. Thank you, 16 and pregnant, because that was not okay.
No.
That was not okay for us.
I remember literally, because I obviously got pregnant during my junior year. And even the start of my senior year, I started showing, and it was almost like they didn't want you in school.
No, they didn't.
So you had to go to a charter school.
You had to leave school.
You had to go to a charter school. So there was no online courses that you could take. They literally ostracized you.
But now you can stay in school.
But they did it with other people that were like you, or troubled, or it wasn't like a school for pregnant girls. It was like a school, like a detention school kind of. But you had to go there to finish.
But now
your
you
schooling.
can stay in school. And
Now you can.
No one says anything to you. Now you can do whatever it is you want to do. And it's,
it's like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so and follow me on my journey as I have a baby at 14.
Yeah. And
on TikTok.
You don't get a slap on the wrist like we did. It's you don't get hidden away, or you're not shamed like I was. I was really shamed. My mom didn't want anybody to know I was pregnant, like at all.
Even at 19.
No.
Which is,
I mean, I was legally an adult.
Right. You had every right to be if you wanted to.
But she didn't want anybody to know I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And that it's crazy how in that span of time, how things have changed that much.
Yeah.
That much.
I know.
Because the high school that we went to, there's pregnant girls in that school left and right. Yeah. Left and right. But when we went, you could not be in that school. At all.
No, not at all.
In fact, when I went, I think one of the cheerleaders was pregnant. When I went back with the Alumni Association, I was like, what?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So.
I mean, all props to them if they raise it and,
No,
they
you
have.
mean props to us.
Well, us too. But I mean, I don't want people coming for us either. Like, just because you had it bad, I mean, we have to. No, you're right. It's not. We went through it first, so you can enjoy.
That's right.
Without all the
thank you, Gen X.
faux pas. Yeah, exactly. Because we went through a lot during that time.
Yeah, because our friends didn't know we were pregnant.
No. I mean, certain ones, they find out. We didn't have cell phones back then, but
nobody knew you were pregnant back then. You just disappeared.
We had people that talk.
Well, yeah, but it was a rumor.
Yeah.
No one really knew. How did other people around you respond to you being pregnant?
Well, if nobody knew, nobody might say anything. No, I'm kidding. I had my support group. But I mean, like we kind of touched in the initial episode, that I was very much by myself and a loner, if you will. I didn't talk to anybody anyway. So, and then who I talked to, they weren't really worth talking to, but, I kind of did what I had to do to stay in school up until I had her. And then, once I did, then I didn't go back to school. I took a break to kind of be with her for like 4 or 5 months. I had the ability to do that. And then after that, I found another charter school because I couldn't go back to the high school.
Yeah.
That allowed me to take her with me while I did my studies. They had a daycare there. I mean, that was a legit school for girls.
Oh, wow.
Teen moms.
Okay.
Or pregnant teens. But I got to take her to school. I got to feed her at lunch and check on her throughout the day while I did my studies. And I did that up until I graduated.
Oh, wow. And
then after that, I went to started working like immediately. So 19, I was looking for work. But I had my support group. I had you. You were there. You were at my baby shower.
Yeah.
And with a few other friends during that time. So I had who I needed during that time in my life. And I had my family. So what about you?
I actually was ostracized by a lot of people. Because my family was really religious and that was all I knew. And when I got pregnant, no one could talk to me anymore. And I lost a bunch of friends, and it was devastating because that was everybody I knew.
Right.
And so all I had was my mom and my sisters and the very few people who knew I was pregnant because I kind of disappeared. I didn't go to graduation. I went to the school and picked up my diploma. I didn't walk. I didn't go to prom. I just kind of vanished because I knew I was graduating. I just couldn't deal with anything else that was going on.
Yeah.
Um, and it was really hard for me. It was. And even you were like, Brandy, how could you get pregnant? You should have learned from me.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
really,
I remember being upset with you with that one, because I was like, girl.
It was really hard. So I had a really hard time. I went through a deep battle of depression because I didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
It was me against the rest of the world, which is why I was on the fence about, should I have this baby?
Mm-hmm.
Should I give it up for adoption? Would it be better for this child to have a loving family versus a single parent?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what his father was going to do at the time. I really didn't.
Yeah.
We weren't on speaking terms.
Same.
So it was rough. I cried for 9 months. I really did.
Yeah.
And then when he was born, I made a promise to him that it didn't matter what happened in the world, he was going to have me. Mm-hmm. And I was going to push him to do whatever it is he wanted to do. And he would always have support with me.
Yeah.
Always.
I think I kind of made that same promise to Emily. So maybe it's a Gen X thing. Maybe it was, or maybe it's just us. Like, cause I kind of did the same thing. Like, I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do to make sure that, whatever generational curses that might have been were no longer. And I heard something the other day. It's not a generational curse. It's a generational beginner. And I love that.
Oh yeah.
That's fantastic.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, I heard that. That was...
oh, I like that.
Isn't it good? Yeah. So all this time I'm thinking I'm going to break a curse, generational curse. But in fact, it's a new beginning. So I take that. I will take that from that TikTok. But I love that.
I feel that though, because my kid is doing everything that he wants to do. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I was his age, I was told, no, you can't do that. Those people don't make money. Yeah. You need to do something else. Right. And I'm so much the opposite. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, you can do it. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Don't take no for an answer. And if it's something you want, push. Yeah. It'll come to fulfillment.
Correct.
Yep. And he's doing it. And I'm very, very proud of him.
Yeah.
Granted, he don't make any money.
And that's what mama's for.
That's fine. That's fine. He didn't make any money, but he's happy doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what I want for him. I want my children to be happy in their life.
Right.
I didn't want them to follow the pattern of, this is how you're supposed to live your life.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I did the total opposite. Mm-hmm. What makes you happy? Mm-hmm. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Doesn't matter what other people say. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. And so I like generational beginnings.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel right now with my kids.
Yep.
That's exactly how I feel.
Absolutely.
I didn't bring a lot of the negativity and this is how society wants you to be and this is how you're supposed to look and you should cut your hair and didn't do any of that. Mm-hmm. Don't care.
Right. Right. How do you think our transition into motherhood affected our friendship?
Definitely there were some stressful times because we were both trying to figure out what it was we were doing.
Yeah.
And we were young. We were really, really young. And so we were trying to figure out who we were.
Right.
Because we weren't there yet.
Yeah.
We didn't know who we were, but we were somebody's mom. And so, okay, granted, we know how to be a mom, but we didn't really know how to be really amazing friends to one another.
Right. It kind of took us.
Yeah. You had to split.
Two separate.
Yeah. You have to go and grow on your own path and then you can circle back.
Two different directions.
And I think that's what we did.
Yeah.
Because you have to figure out what kind of career you're going to be on. Yep. You have to figure out what kind of relationship you're going to be in with the significant other. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times your friends may not like that person, but that might be the person you need to bond yourself to at that time.
Correct.
There's just a lot going on. And granted, you can still be friends. Are you going to be as close as you were? No, not necessarily, because you're still growing and figuring out who you are and whether, you might not know if you like cheese or not.
Right. Exactly.
You could have been told your whole life you hate cheese, and then all of a sudden you're like, this is cheese?
Right. Some good shit.
Yeah. So I think with us kind of growing apart and then growing together and then growing apart and growing together, we were able to kind of say, okay, well, this is the person I grew up with.
Right.
And I still love this person, and I'm still going to support this person, whether or not they're making the right decisions at the time or veering from what it was they said they were going to do. That's fine. I'll love you through it.
Right. We have that sense of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it just took some growth, and not everybody is able to like wait and grow together. It's hard to grow with somebody.
Yeah.
Cause I know 18-year-old Brandy and 18-year-old Chrissy are different people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
They're very different people.
Absolutely.
But it's really cool to go back and visit there sometimes.
Yeah.
But we're different now, and it's.
I mean, your kids tell you you're different. Like, I don't know if yours do, but my oldest will be more than happy to say, "Mom, why are you so different? You used to be this way. You used to do this. You used to be that." I am totally, and that's not by. I think it's just life. It's just life, and it's learning to live with the choices that you make. And, so, but I enjoy going back and reminiscing, because sometimes I miss that. I miss being certain ways when I was younger,
Well, you can go back and live there.
Well, I don't want to stay there, Brandy. I said I like to visit. I don't want to stay, but I like to bring a little bit of that Chrissy with me when I get back
there,
because I do miss that. I was much more carefree, much more, in living the moment, where now I feel like I'm just trying to get through the day.
I think now older Brandy is so much to where she doesn't care what other people think, whereas younger Brandy did. And I'm able to laugh at myself a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm able to be silly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when or where or who's watching.
Yeah. I'm getting back to that point.
Yeah.
My other one will tell you that. Yeah,
and
for sure.
I was like that with my kids behind closed doors. And they helped me be that way because my kids were really silly. And so I could be silly with them. But when we were out in public, I had to put on like this persona that was brainwashed into me. This is how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what I have on. I really don't care. I will go outside in a tutu in a heartbeat in a tiara. Do not care what people think. And I like that part about me now because I was always like that. I just didn't show everybody.
Yeah.
And now I can show everybody and I don't care.
Which is perfect.
Yeah. That's the cool part about it.
Absolutely.
And my kids will say I'm pretty much the same because they got that part of me that nobody else got to see.
Right.
And now that I'm letting other people see it, they love that. They love that other people can see who their parent really is.
Absolutely. That's the fun part for sure. Since we're almost out of time, what advice would you give a single mom today?
Take every moment and just live in it because you don't get those moments back.
Right.
You don't get the moments back when they have skin knees. You don't get the moments back when you're up late at night sick with your kid. You don't get the moments back to where you absolutely have to stay home with them. When your kids are grown and gone, they're gone. And so you don't get those moments back. Yeah. You don't get to cook for them. You don't get to sing lullabies to them. You don't get to tell stories to them. You don't get to go to the park or Chuck E. Cheese or go on vacations with little people. They're gone.
Yeah.
And as hard as it is right now, and as frustrating as it is right now, and as much as you want to give up, cuss, scream, and cry, live in the moment because you do not get them back.
Yeah. I think mine would be get your hella support friends. Get a tribe, get your people. Or if you don't have one, go to church, get involved in something or in a group, get involved with other adults because you can tend to lose yourself in your kids and you need to have that adult time. Maybe a single moms group if you're a single mom or, a mom's group in general. But I would absolutely put myself in a group or recommend you put yourself in a group with other people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. So you can kind of talk things out and what have you. But real quick, what theme song would you say was the soundtrack of your single parenthood?
Ooh, what theme song did I have?
I had like 10. I was like, I do have like 10.
So the number one song that pops into my head is Brenda Had a Baby by Tupac. Like legit. That is a song.
That's awesome.
Because in the 90s, that is a song that resonates of how hard it was to be a single mom.
Yeah. Hands down.
Like
done.
That is the song.
That's the song.
That was if you were going to have a baby and it was 96, that's the song for you.
That's the song for you, Brenda. That's the song for you.
That's your song. You going to cry, cuss, and scream all in the same song.
All in the same song. I forgot about that one, but that's a good one.
I know.
That is a good one. My brain went more pop-ish.
Pop-ish?
Pop R&B.
What was
Survivor.
Your song? You a Survivor?
Yeah, Destiny's Child.
You know that came out in the 2000s, right?
But hey, it's still. It was either that or Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise is the one. Because you feel like a gangster when you raising a little person.
If you can't handle the heat, get your ass out the kitchen. Yeah. I was on a mission.
Yeah.
That was actually my first one. But when I was trying to think of it, I was like, what would be my soundtrack? But rest in peace, Coolio.
Rest in peace, Pac.
Rest in peace, Pac.
West Coast till I die.
Born and raised in Fort Worth. Or no, you're Arlington. No, you're not.
I'm not.
No, you're Cali.
That's right.
You're Cali.
California
You are
love
Cali,
all the way.
Oh, you can say that. Dang it. I can't say it. I was born and raised in Fort Worth.
Sad.
Not
Tragic.
even on the west side. I can't even.
Don't tell nobody. Okay. They won't know.
All right. Don't say anything.
That is our time. Always remember to log on to www.hellafriends.com. Hella-friends.com.
Yeah.
That is where you can follow us. You can look at what new content's coming out. You can see what events we have planned. And if you have a suggestion for a show, you can let us know.
That's right.
What else are we on?
What do we say?
What do you mean? What do we say?
Well, what do we say when we end? We have a new slogan.
And remember, life be lifing.
Lifing.
Sometimes. Bye, guys.